Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you. Welcome, everyone. It is so good to see all of you here tonight. Seriously, looking out at all of you fills my heart with so much hope and joy for our parish. I want to be very clear about why we are here and why you are so important. First, you belong here. Sometimes people talk about you as the future of the church, but you are not just the future, you are the church right now. Your energy, your questions, your faith, your doubts, all of it is a vital part of who we are as a parish, community, and family. This program, this space is for you. It is a place where you can be yourself without pressure or judgment. Second, this is a place to connect. I know life can be stressful. You have God's call, sports, family, expectations, the crazy world of social media. It is a lot. Our dream for you is that it becomes a place where you can build real, authentic friendship with others who are on the same journey. A place where you can support each other and have a ton of fun doing it. And most importantly, this is a place to encounter Jesus. Not as a historical figure in a book, but as a real person who knows you, loves you, and wants to be your friend. Our goal is not just to talk about God. It is to give you a space where you can actually talk with God and discover the incredible, unique mission He has just for you. So my simple encouragement tonight is this: dive in, be open, introduce yourself to someone you don't know, participate in the games, ask a question you have always been afraid to ask. This is your goal, and it will become whatever you help us make it. We are so incredibly blessed to have you. I am personally so excited to be on this journey with you. May the Holy Spirit guide us with His life in everything we do together. God bless you. Have a wonderful time.
Start off with a real quick icebreaker. We're going to go around, starting with us, and we're going to say our names, and then if you know or you don't know, your translation in Tigrinya, or in English, for Tigrinya English. So like, what does your name mean? Y'all know? Don't know? Not? This is a good way to like learn everybody's names and know the meaning of it, okay? Alright, go. Oh, okay. So my name is Salam. It has two meanings. It means hi, and it also means peace. My attendant college major. I am health system management major. Oh, yes. And then you're also going to say what you're planning to do for school. If you know, if not, just kind of like your dream career. Okay? And then my name is Nigisli, which means queen. I graduated with a biology degree, and I'm on a pre-med track.
My name is Natsu, or Nahara. I think it means honest something. I don't remember the second part. Into my major right now is anthropology and biology on the pre track. Yeah.
Let's start with.
My name is Samrawi, and honor the meaning of my name, and my intended college major would be communications.
Does anybody know what Samrawi means? No? What do you know what it means? Samrawi, what does it mean?
The Samaritan, huh? The Samaritan woman.
Samaritan. Oh, Samaritan. Samaritan woman. Okay. So now you know that. Alright, and how about you guys stand up and do it?
Yes.
Got you, girl.
Testing.
Go ahead.
My name is Arcella. I don't remember the meaning of my name, but I think when my college major would be like biomedical or something like that.
My name is Salman. I don't really remember what my name means, but my intended major, I'm not sure.
My name is Yosan, and I think it means a gift from God. And then I want to major in biology or biochem so I could go to dental school afterwards.
My name is Fortuna, and it means good luck, good fortune. And I want to major in public health in college.
Yeah, come on, girl.
My name is Elam, and I don't know if you know my name, but I think from the Bible. And I want to major in econ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Helena's. My name is Constance, and my intended college major, I'm not really sure.
My name is Lisa. It's like what the ladies say when something good happens. It's and I want to major in psychology.
My name is Marta. It's from the Bible. I don't know. I know the meaning, but it means a woman who served God. And my intended college major is architecture.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Cindy, and the meaning of my name is peace and harmony. And I want to, my major I want to do is biology.
My name is Samson, and my name means strength. I think, and my intended college major is engineering.
My name is Kendall. My meaning of my name is the light of a candle, and I don't know.
My name is Natu. I don't know the meaning of my name, and I don't know what to call me. My name is Isaiah. I don't really know the meaning, but my intended college major is probably engineering.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. And also, you guys in the back, too. Let's start off with.
Yeah.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
My name is Ibnet.
And what is your name?
It means faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Samrat, and it means unity.
I'm Kirane. My name is Floyd. The full name is Kirane Mariam. So it's Covenants of.
Very. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. Nice to meet all of you guys.
So just to start off with, talking about the application timeline. I had a video, but it's not gonna work right now. No video. Okay.
Yeah, I think he used the mic.
So I guess like who's like comment or tell me what comment at? Like just show of hands.
You guys know?
Comment. Okay. Or well, I guess what's everybody great in school? Going to go down the line real quick. Like what year in school are you right now?
I'm a rising sophomore, and I go to East Mac.
Okay.
I'm a rising sophomore. I also go to East Mac.
I'm a rising junior.
I'm a rising senior, and I go to East Mac.
I'm a rising senior too.
Junior.
Rising freshman. Rising senior in Agro-Sosmic.
Sophomore in group.
Yeah, sophomore.
Rising seventh grader and William Mathematician Academy.
I'm a freshman.
I'm going to be a freshman.
Rising sophomore. Rising freshman.
Okay, so I guess more centered toward like juniors and seniors. At least when you start coming out, I mean, even if you guys were freshmen and sophomore, once you get there, this is like the main quarter to apply to college for. Like you've probably heard of it or you will hear about it. But you basically, at least it starts off August 1st at USC. Application will open, you'll register with just a simple email and password, and then from there, this will be like the main source that you apply to any school through. And then in terms of just like financial aid, the school itself, supplementals, I guess like your achievements and privileges will all go through there. So just looking at it, like it's gonna start off pretty quickly. So August 1st is next month, or only in 30 days. Your school will begin towards the end of August, and then applications will be due November 1st for early applications, and then standard applications, like regular decision, everything like that, will be January 1st. On top of this, with like most scholarships and I guess programs that you might want to do, like with early decision, a lot of the times because it's due November 1st, you see that it opens August 1st, but your timeline is a lot more sped up compared to everybody else. You have to get financial aid documents approved and sent in, letter of recommendation, your essay has to be done faster. So just like keep to account that regardless if you apply early or regular, like you might apply early to some schools or regular to others, your timeline's gonna be adjusted to all these schools at once. So just starting off, like building a college list. Again, this number you see, 8 to 12 schools, is not a fixed number. You can apply to how many schools you want to, it's your choice. You can apply to 20, you can apply to 5 if you want to. But just separating it into reach, target, and safety schools. So safety school is a school that, based on your stats and what you want to do, that might be, I don't want to say easy, but like not as hard to get into for you. Let's say you have a certain GPA, a certain amount of extracurriculars, if you do a certain way as well on your grades, that'll be a safety school that like you think you're very confident getting into. So just listing 2 to 3 of that. This can be anything from community college to, like, I mean, it just all depends on you. Like, it shouldn't be based on other people. So you hear, for some people, a safety school might be UNC Charlotte. Some people it could be Chapel Hill. Like, it can be anything. It's just based on what you're trying to go for and where you're at, or how ready you are in terms of like applying to college and getting to that next step. And then after safety or your target school, these are schools probably like your dream school that you want to go to. Schools that you think might be not as easy to get into, but you should be able to based on your stats, your application. And then reach schools are these schools that like might be a little harder to get into based on either acceptance rates and stuff like that. But you'd like to go there to get into it, type of thing. And just again considering like academics, like you have said, your attended majors. A lot of schools, all schools have a lot of programs and majors, but at the end of the day, there are certain schools that are stronger in certain departments. So like, for example, UNC Charlotte has programs for almost every type of major, but then Duke is known for its medicine and law. Chapel Hill is known for public health, for example. ECU, again, medical. UNCG have a very good computer science program and medicine, biology program. So just looking at what you want to do either in your future, or also just like what gives you the amount of time to be flexible. So you can come in for a certain major that you have talked about, you might change it later on down the line, or you might just want to switch, or might think potentially a double major or something like that. So just knowing what each school is good at, and then also just like doing research on the school websites, throughout the departments, what classes they might have, and whatever interests you. And on top of that, just looking at location and size. A lot of us are in Charlotte, and there's a lot of schools aren't in Charlotte, but there are schools outside of Charlotte you can go to, whether that be Greensboro, Raleigh, a different state, a different location, different side of the country. Just looking at what you would like to be at, maybe trying a new city or just staying closer to home. And also just size, obviously the bigger the school, you're one student among thousands, so a smaller school, you might be able to gain more access or like maybe be seen more, but whether at a bigger school, you might just blend in and maybe you're okay with that. On top of that, campus cultures, there's a lot of schools that are very school spirited, like the big football schools, like Chapel Hill, Charlotte, all that stuff, are known for school spirit, and there's smaller schools that don't have football teams and maybe are focused more on just school. Just knowing that what you'd like to go to for the next 4 years, and then you're not stuck there, but it is a commitment you have to make, whether it's financially, time, or even just schooling. And then financially, cost and aid, a lot of schools have different costs, whether that be in-state tuition or out-of-state tuition, and how many scholarships they might give you. You're also just looking at what you and your family can or pay for, might be able to look for funding to pay for, And then on top of that, just admission rates, like I said before, every student's different. You have different stats, different GPAs, different accomplishments. Just knowing what might be the best fit for you based on what you have done so far or what you can't do in the future. Okay. So, yeah, so again, the next facet of your common application, a lot of schools like letter of recommendations, not always required, but I think it's a good idea to get them regardless if a school. That's another thing too with your Common App. You'll see that a lot of different schools have different requirements. A lot of times it will say optional. I think like it's just a good measure. It could be different for everybody, but anything that says optional, you should try to do just because it's almost like a test, I guess. Like you're telling you don't have to, but then the people who do it stand out in application. So like there's a lot of supplementals you might not have to do. There might be extra essays, maybe extra topics, maybe extra things like letter regulations that you don't need to do, but like going that extra mile sets you apart from everybody else. So again, it is more work, but if you're willing to put in the time, it will benefit you in the long run.
So, I would say if I could think about when I was in high school, and I was very much the child that was like, I would talk to all the kids, but when it came to the adults, I'm like, like, be a little shy about what to do, especially when it came to applying for college and letters of recommendation. Sometimes it's hard if you don't really know which teacher to ask. Honestly, just ask all of them. That's really that. I mean, most teachers know that you're going to apply to college, and they're like, whether or not you don't have like a really close personal relationship with them, they know how you are doing academically. So a class that you're doing really, really good in, I would recommend you just asking them, and then also just and a little bit like leading up to it, kind of like build a relationship with them, like hi, bye. Like it's just as long as a teacher that you talk to, they know a little bit about you and you know a little bit about them. That's all that it takes because they're all invested in your future, regardless. That's all they're going to say is really talk about how you're doing academically. No teacher really knows what's going on in your life or who you are personally, but they're going to give their own professional opinion about how you're doing academically. So don't be scared to like ask any of your teachers. Or you have guidance counselors too, or even it could be like office staff, anybody but you want to do more, someone who will know you and who, like for example, like a teacher that you would probably talk to and who can know what you're doing academically.
Yeah, just adding on to what TT said, like that's the perfect topic. If you're a junior or senior, let's say a senior, same thing, like maybe it's not a teacher you're not best friends with, you don't have a very close relationship with, just asking a teacher that you've done well in is all you really need. And those of you who are freshmen, sophomores, and have the time, just thinking about it now, like is there a teacher that you maybe can talk to more that you like a favorite class in, or maybe you got an A in or a B in, setting up that relationship early, because even, it's never like a too late thing, but obviously it's more just like preparing for it and making it easier for you in the long run. So once you get to your senior year, you're one of like the entire country applying to college, and then there's other countries on top of that. So getting those connections to asking early first is like a big point. Gets you ahead because like they can remember the name, put a face to the name, maybe develop a relationship, and then get their letter recommendation to you on time or faster, which only helps your application, and also just like is less stress because waiting to email a teacher in the last minute and maybe they're not getting back to you in time, or like postponing like when they email you can scary because like it's a vital part of your application. So on top of that, just like asking for teachers, like your core subjects are also really important. Your math teachers, your reading teachers, your English teachers, history, stuff like that. Look really good under letter recommendations. So if there's a certain math class you do really well in, science, history, whatever it may be, they're also for someone you can ask. And it doesn't have to be teachers, like you can be like a coach, you can be a manager at work or an internship. But at the same time, teachers do hold a little more weight because they are in charge of your academics. So I would try to focus on that. And then when you're emailing them, just being respectful, like, hey, how are you type of thing, asking them about it, and then just asking them, can I get a recommendation for you? And then supplying them with a resume. And this resume can just be what you do outside of school, whether it's like a letter, like I said, extracurriculars, your work, maybe awards you've gotten because of school. This can be something they can all use to add in, kind of just brag about you, because that's really all it is, a letter recommendation. Something that you do good at, or a teacher speaking on how well you are at a certain thing. And yeah, just keep it personal and professional, whether that's just teachers, managers at work. Having a personal relationship with them is good, but at the same time, like, they still are a teacher. And then that keeps the letter of recommendation from being, I guess, biased, but I feel like it's more of a thing in the higher level, so this will be okay. And ask questions during like the slide if you guys have it. You don't have to wait until the end. Okay. And then extracurriculars, another topic. Just because it refers to work, clubs, anything you do outside of school, on top of school. Common App will have 10 activity slides. So regardless of how many you may have or how maybe if you have less, you have 10 spots. So if it's the case of you having more than 10, choosing the best kind of the most involved you are in, whether that's you have a leadership role in it, you have more hours. This can also be jobs, family responsibilities, any projects you've ever done, stuff like that. These can all be put in that section. And again, it's not, well, I guess whether you're a freshman in high school, 8th grade, or sophomore, whatever, doing a lot is good, but I guess it also matters like quality. So like, let's say you have a student that has 10 clubs they're in versus a student that has maybe only 3. The student that has 3 but has a lot of hours in it is going to get looked at more or is more appealing to an application reader or a teacher because they devoted more time to it. And that's really the most important part is just like how much time you devoted. And with that, like either joining clubs at school, leadership and stuff like that, like it's good to have those leadership roles, but like if you can't get that, it's not the end of the world, like still list it. So like getting president in every club isn't like if that's a goal you want to have and you can accomplish that, then do that. But let's say if you're not able to, because at the end of the day, it's with high school clubs, sometimes it is just politics or like popularity tests. Having any kind of impact, whether you just show up to every meeting, you show up to every event, is important. You can say that in your discussion because with each one you'll be able to describe what you did, how many hours, and exactly what role you got, whether that's just a club member, secretarian, president, store, whatever. And on top of that, record your hours and activities. Like so for those of you starting off high school now, keeping like a Google Doc or like a sheet of just like what clubs you're a part of, how many hours you put into it, whether it's like a meeting, an event, how many volunteering you've done, even with family responsibilities, like whether it's just working a job or helping the family out with a certain thing, everything counts as an extracurricular because you're devoting time to it outside of school. And then just how you're describing is a very big part. Like, don't just say, I was in NHS, I was a team member, and then leave it. So you like use action words, which is like what exactly you did, and then like how many hours, like quantifying that. I spent 60 hours at NHS as a team member that, I guess let's say, you set up every meeting, like describe exactly what you did for that club and how you impacted it, rather than just saying, oh, I'm a part of this club, because you were a part of this club as long as all your classmates and every other school in the county and country. So just then again, it's just an opportunity to set yourself apart. And yeah, like the number of clubs isn't the most important thing, it's what you've done within it and the impact that it had on you as a student or you've had it on the club.
So those of you who are kind of on a pre-med track or for sure know that that's probably what they're going to be doing, or pre-health, where you're going to, or any school that you know that you're probably going to apply to like a grad school or anything like that, a lot of positions like those, whether it's nursing, whether it's being a doctor or a PA, they're going to require like certifications and like clinical hours or something like that, or they really do like volunteering. And if anything, get your volunteering and get any certifications that you can get in high school. I know people, for example, can get it at the age of 18. Like if you're a senior, you can get your certification for like CNA, pharmacy technician, different things at the age of 18. So especially for, I think you just need to really be more conscious about anything in the pre-health track, and you can do it in high school. But even then, volunteering in the hospital, they have a lot of places like that where you can do that as well. And they don't require like a lot of background, like information, like there's not really like a lot of like background requirements for that, but that's what I would say. That's the only thing I would say for pre-health. That's the only thing I think, right, that probably requires some kind of thought prior to going into college that you should think about. And I wish I had thought about like in my freshman, sophomore year, because I knew I wanted to be a doctor. Everybody kind of has an idea, sort of, what they want to do, but they don't really realize that you can set yourself up for success, and it'll be like less stressful for when you're in college applying to those grad programs. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add on that, like I think besides the tree house, like HOSA, like most schools have HOSA in it. I think there tends to be like a good club for each like path. Let's say you want to do business, like DECA is a good club for you guys. HOSA for medicine, and I think that might be it. But like I mean, it depends on the high school you go to.
They do
like,
have like
like, it looks good even
Yeah.
to join those clubs.
Mhm.
Even if you're just in it and you're not really in a leadership role, which it's okay, because it shows that you thought about this since a kid or like when you're younger. So it looks like, okay, this person is passionate. I've seen that in high school. They were just because they do that. They look and see and they check everything. So
Okay. So financial aid, kind of just talking about the whole making a college list before. It's the same kind of idea. As you guys may or may not know. Is that right?
Doctor, before we move on to the financial aid, can you talk more about like dual enrollment and how that may help students
Class, yeah.
while they're in high school?
Alright, yeah, so I guess in terms of courses, it kind of, with like your classes, like we have, what it is, I don't know, it's still called CP, right? Or not? CP, dual enrollment, and AP and stuff like that.
that's kind of considered like an extracurricular, so that
Mhm.
kind of adds on it. But so dual enrollment is basically when you are taking college credit classes in high school. And then there's also programs with CC, I think. There's like early college programs. There's different campuses. There's Cato. So it's called a middle college. So basically, while you're getting your high school degree, you also have it's like a 13th year as well. But they've extended it out too as well, where you're able to obtain your associate's degree, which is basically 2 years. So you're going to 4 years of bachelor's, so it's 2 years. So it's like half of it, which people can do that. And then there's also enrollment programs within the school. For example, like what I said about people who are going to grad school. Let's say you're trying to be a doctor. I went to East Carolina University. I know people who did the same thing, did their dual enrollment, and was able to apply to the medical school while applying to college to get their bachelor's. So they get early acceptance because, like I said, they're conscious about what they wanted to do. They did some volunteering. They had letters of recommendation as well. They kept their GPA well. So they have some kind of experience. And sometimes people think, oh, what? I didn't even know that until I was a freshman in college. But that's why we have moments like this where I can tell you ahead of time, because it will save you a lot more stress, and then you will just be more sure, more confident, and more prepared for the application process. But they do have programs. So when you were looking, you can talk to your guidance counselor. You can talk to the school about that. They have like career centers in your high school. Ask them about that. And even a couple like college courses, if your classes are kind of easy and they're like you don't really have main core classes, you can take a couple at CPCC, or you can take it online, and they're very, very easy. And you don't have to necessarily get your associate's degree, but any credit will help you graduate even earlier, or to what I just said. Any questions about that? No? Okay.
Okay, so with financial aid, like I said, college list, think about costs, like how much a school costs before you go or apply to it. Public schools versus private schools. Public schools are, I guess what it is, public versus a private school. Private schools usually tend to be liberal arts or research schools, so they have a heavier focus on those aspects of like academics. Liberal arts is just like, it's more just like a, I guess like a humanities focused school versus a research school focused on medicine, engineering, like research like that. Private schools, like for example Duke and Wake Forest, like tend to have tuition costs that are very, very expensive, like whether it be $80,000, $90,000, and then public schools are a lot lower, but then they also have in-state and out-of-state cost attendance. So let's say for example Chapel Hill, if you're an in-state student, it usually ranges between $10,000–$15,000 a semester or a year, which is really, really cheap compared to most schools. But then for those who are out of state and apply to Chapel Hill, your cost is like maybe double that. So just looking, I mean, for you guys, you're all, let's say you apply to any school in North Carolina, whether that be, again, Duke, Chapel Hill, UNCG, App State, anything like that, you're in state, so your tuition's a lot lower. But then if you're applying to a school like UGA or NYU or say UCLA, like if you're out of that state, so you pay a tuition that's based on out of state, which would be a lot more versus you staying here. But then even with staying here or staying in a different state, there's public and private, so public schools are always going to cost a lot less, but private schools offer a lot more aid. So private schools a lot of times are need-based, so like based on what you need. So let's say your family, your parents make a certain bracket of money. If you fall above or below it, based on that, the school gives you this much money. So let's say you make under 200K, most schools like Duke and Penn and all these Ivy League schools and even just higher private schools will cover all tuition because it's need-based. So let's say you need the full tuition covered, will cover all of that. And that's based off your FAFSA profile, which we'll get to in this slide.
Okay, so when I think about like college and making sure, so if you're getting aid from the school, mind you, majority of the time that's only going to be covering your tuition and maybe some of your books or something like that. That's not going to be covering your day-to-day expenses. Let's say after like your freshman year, you decide to live off campus or something like that. You're probably going to bring your car to college. So you want ahead of time to apply to additional scholarships. Don't just rely on your financial aid because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've never seen that much money, $2,000, $4,000, that's nothing. But you don't realize because you're not paying the bills at home currently right now. Some of you are, and I applaud you. I applaud you guys are helping or anything, but sometimes we don't conceptualize like how much money we're actually going to be spending in a year or even a month. So it's a little bit different. So I would just say that one thing, just do not rely 100% on your financial aid. Try to apply to a bunch of scholarships as well. If that makes sense.
I was worried about my finances when I was applying at least. So the first thing I did was apply to CPCC. So I went there for 2 years and financial aid was paying for all of it, thank God. But then I transferred to UNCC for the last 2 years. So I'm a senior now and I'm paying out of pocket, which is a bit more different. It's a lot. I'm able to pay it now because when I was fresh out of high school, I didn't have a good job to pay for that stuff. So I made that decision to go for CPC for 2 years, and then now I can pay for it, and thank God. But it's just more of like, it's okay to go to community college for a year or 2. It doesn't matter, just you can transfer and still get your bachelor's. That's what I did, so I think it's kind of a smart decision if you're not able to have that financial aid.
There's always other options. Yeah. Always.
And I guess like looking at it from what school perspective, like you guys are freshmen and sophomore, a lot of scholarships or even just aid can be based on just like your merit, so like how you are in school, whether your grades, your GPA, and stuff like that. So those of you who excel in school and like are pushing for that, like you would keep on doing well in school because you can get more money for that. They look at all factors and like you said, they don't always cover it, but that's why I rely on scholarships that either pay certain fees, like let's say if you have housing left over, they'll pay for your housing versus scholarship that can cover everything. Just doing research on, like we'll get to that in the scholarship section, but like a scholarship that can cover need-based, but like total. So like you can have a scholarship, but scholarships they're not always going to cover your entire cost, but those are the better total cost or total tuition. When you're looking at it in the description, they'll cover your housing, tuition, food, travel sometimes, like, and they'll match it every year. So like, let's say a school costs, for example, my school costs $85,000 a year, so every year it will change. That's the other thing too. Let's say every single year you get a certain package, my scholarship and tuition will match that, so there's no left over. And then sometimes the scholarship, like let's say you apply to a couple at a time versus one, you can get refunds. And with refunds, let's say again, like it costs $85,000, they give you $90,000, you get $5,000 back to yourself, like you keep for your own personal expenses. So yeah, just doing research on exactly what you're looking for and what you need or maybe need to pay for now, and then also while you're at school, because yeah, it's important. And so I guess back to FAFSA, this is an application that will open November 1st. November. It's usually around November 1st, but when you open it, you're gonna have to apply as a student, but then also your parents have to do this with you. And it's a complicated application, but they made it easier, but it's something you have to prepare for because it takes time. Or like all of our parents have our documents or whatnot somewhere, so getting them to sit down and get all those documents and knock out this application is really important. So from the student perspective, you're gonna need your social security number, which either you might know or might not know, but your parents will know it. You're gonna create a FAFSA ID, which is just when you go to the website, you're gonna apply with the email, phone number, make an account, and you get a FAFSA ID, and that'll stay with you throughout college, because whenever you're gonna have to apply for FAFSA every single year. It's not like you're gonna apply going to college, freshman year of college is only going to third year, because every year you need aid. So it's gonna be a continual thing. So for this application, for those of you who are seniors coming up, you're gonna be applying to the 26-27 application. And they take a federal tech return from 2 years ago. So for you guys, you'll be collecting your parents' 2024 tech return, but also yours if you're working. On top of this, you'll be taking W-2 forms, which is W-2 forms basically to say how much parent money either you made, your parents made from working that year. There'll be stuff like Schedule 1, stuff like that, but like you don't need to know all that. When you're asking for it, the majority of the time your parents and tax returns will all be together, so it's more just a matter of just having the form all together and then just reading the titles. But the form, when we applied, and it was a lot more complicated, they asked for a lot, but I think they simplified it this year to just income, so just like how much you made for that year. And then like if you have like investments, stuff like that, I think for students they'll ask you like what you have in your bank account, so if you guys have a job now or have money right now, you note it down. If not, you don't put anything. For your parents, it's the exact same thing. Doing it with them is really important because they're also going to get FAFSA ID. It's linked to your name, but every year when you submit an application for FAFSA to get aid for the next year, you have to sign it. Your parents can sign on top of that. If your parents don't sign it, your aid is delayed, and then you could lose out on money. And with that too, the whole not procrastinating anything and doing things on time, the later you do your application, the less money you can get. So doing it faster is like a first come first served thing. Like the federal aid, it's a certain amount of money they want to give out to students if they can. But those of you who apply faster can get more money at the time. So just a thing of just time. And the same thing, they're going to need your parents' social security number and their tax returns and income. So getting these documents all together at one time, you're telling your parents ahead of time, like, hey, I need to get these documents ready, and sitting down with them, having these accounts made, and also keeping tabs of everything. If you forget this password, you can kind of reset it, but your FAFSA ID or your parents section is really hard to get back, because a lot of times, because it's a federal thing, their call centers, like they won't answer, they take a long time, or you have to email them or mail something, and then again, it's a time-sensitive thing, you have due dates like coming up, you don't want to wait for that, and then risk not getting as much money for your school. So yeah, don't put yourself in a position where you're, I guess, like relying on someone else or like the school or I guess this application. Like you want to be able to get ahead of it, get your money if you can get it, and then be able to apply without the stress of like, hey, if I don't do this faster, then I can't apply to this school type of thing. Like you want to get that money or at least get the application in, and hopefully be able to go to the school that you want to go to without worrying about the money.
Also, once you're in the college, they do have a financial aid office, and they will have advisors who will help you as well. So sometimes they can help you with that as well. Also, I would say, keep this in mind. I'm probably just giving you tips anyways, just to keep you prepared. When you have your FAFSA and you get accepted in school and they give you your money and everything, they also check and make sure that you are doing well academically. If you are not doing well academically, they have a cutoff at a certain GPA, I think it's like 2.0 or something, and you can get into like, basically like suspension, where you won't be able to get financial aid and you have to do an appeal, and it's a thing, so I know a lot of people have lost their financial aid because of that, so once you're there in your freshman year in college, make sure you keep your GPA as high as possible. There's going to be a lot of distractions, but just make sure that it's not about, I know sometimes it's hard and school is hard, but keep that in mind that that's another factor is you could be losing your funding as well. That's why I said don't 100% rely on that.
I guess kind of adding on to that too, a little like a year or two earlier, just don't ever do anything on your own. Talk to your advisor before you add a class, drop a class, because if you drop a class past a withdrawal date, that could also affect your financial aid. Some of them will not pay for that, or some will just pull your whole funding. Just be careful of like the things you're doing, because it could affect you financially, I guess. Yeah.
And that's like the whole with school. You're either a part-time student or a full-time student. So I think if you're under 12 credits, which is like 3 to 4 classes, you're part-time, and most scholarships that make FAFSA don't pay for part-time students. They want you to be a full-time student, which is 12 credits or higher. So yeah, like dropping a class without talking to an advisor would basically put you at risk for losing money or your entire scholarship.
Does financial aid time out? I've heard that term at my job. Does it time out? So if you're dropping a class, or you fail a class, or you have to take a class, is there a time?
Yeah, so they do have like, how to explain it? So within the first, I think, week is your like grace period for your grades, for your GPA, for everything, where you can just withdraw your class and it won't even show up on your transcript too. And it's also for your financial aid. But if you have any like more questions about that, it's on their like website. Usually on every college, they'll have a financial aid section, and they will tell you their requirements and your non-negotiables for that school. But I think majority of them are all the same, but they will tell you like you have to have a certain amount of credit hours. You have to have a minimum of 12 credit hours to be a full-time student. Anything less than that is part-time, and sometimes, majority of the time, FAFSA will not cover part-time students. They want you to be full-time. So, yeah.
I think, and with the whole like timing out thing, majority of the time when you get financial aid, it lasts you that whole school year, so it won't time out in like the middle of the year, but like doing things like getting a low GPA or like changing your part-time to full-time status, you'll lose your money. Like, the majority of the time they're set for a school year, so whether it's a scholarship for your entire year or a 4-year scholarship, it's going to be that. It's going to be a set time. The only way to lose it or for it to time out is to academic or like school issues, like getting suspended or something like that. I'm sorry.
Just one more. So if a student works during the year and they have to submit a W-2 or W-4, whatever that is, that goes towards their income?
Yeah, I mean for high school students or college students? I guess high school, yeah. You don't tend to get to list it unless your parents, like, if you're, I mean, as up to your parents, if they claim you or not, you're independent. If you're independent, you get to list it, because then technically you wouldn't be relying on your parents' income for their FAFSA. But if they claim you, which the majority of the time they do, you're gonna give it to your parents, and then they'll take that W-2 and then put it into account. Sometimes it's not like I remember in high school, I worked all 4 years, or 3 years, but I didn't put it, I don't think my first year I didn't put it on my FAFSA, it didn't require it. I was focused on my parents because they claimed me as a student.
I would say to, like, I think what we need to do obviously is send like a list of like tips and tricks for you guys, beyond what we just said, like the basic information. Never, that's my personal opinion, never ever say that you're independent in college. All throughout. You want to stay dependent, because then you'll go based off your parents' income, and you'll get more financial aid because you're a student. They're gonna think that you're paying for yourself, that you have some kind of income. So I never, even if I did make money, I always stayed dependent, and it never affected my, like, basically I just made sure that what I applied for when I got in stayed consistent, so I didn't lose or didn't change any year or like anytime. So.
And that's an important part, is like staying consistent, because regardless of, I mean, your parents' income goes up or down, you want to get the same, it's called EFC score, basically how much aid they think you need or how much like you are relying on it, but you want to stay consistent. If it ever changes, like let's say you go 3 years getting A's, the same package every year, and then 1 year you change something in your application, you get less money, and you're worrying about paying something the 4th year, the middle of the school year, and that's added stress that you probably don't want as a student or for your family. So yeah, for scholarships, like I said, merit-based is just based on, I guess, like your performance as a student, whether it's GPA, with like testing like SAT and ACT, getting high scores on that will also give you a scholarship you can get based off that. I think SAT itself has a scholarship they give you, and it's regarded really highly, so for those of you who get high scores, it's a really good scholarship, and also just looks on all college applications, because it basically says like you're good at testing in this capacity or in this type of subject. There's also school-specific scholarships, so any scholarship or school you apply to, go to the financial aid section, kind of review what they expect of you, but also see what they offer. A lot of schools, I think most schools have financial aid or scholarship that they can offer, whether it's, let's say, a certain department, like the biology department of a certain school might offer money if you're like a good student in science or you want to apply for a science-related major. Morehead Cane's a very, I guess, known one, I guess, Chapel Hill. For example, you apply, you have your own application on top of your college application or high school application or college application, and you have an entry fee process, and if you get that, they match you with a full scholarship. They'll cover all 4 years, fully paid. Park is another one at NC State. Same exact idea. You pay, you apply, you might have an interview, and then they cover. So basically, all these scholarships at Robinson's another one. It's 2 years at Duke, 2 years at Chapel Hill, or the other way around. Full ride, and then Levine is at UNC Charlotte. But basically, like every school is going to have a scholarship, whether it's a big one or even small ones. Just look at for it. I think my sister applied to Chapel Hill, and she did a science-based scholarship because she wanted to do something PA basically, and she was able to get that one, and they covered her tuition for the 4 years. But like you said, applying to the scholarship is important because for her case, they didn't cover room and board, so everything else was covered except for that. So you're just looking at these different schools, exactly what they're offering, whether it's a full scholarship or a partial, or let's say like, a scholarship can be full, but not like cover like a certain aspect of your tuition. Just looking and doing research. On top of that, there's national scholarships that are outside of your school, but your school might be partnered with it. So there's Gates, there's Questbridge, Coca-Cola Scholars, and that's just a couple of them. These scholarships have their own separate application. They're not involved with the school specifically, but if you apply, you have your own application process. You can get matched with a full ride scholarship, and usually these scholarships cover your full tuition, whether that's the school cost itself, your room and board, food. Sometimes they include travel, and on top of times they give you extra money to get back to use as a student, whether that's covering your like laptop, covering your flights, or just like extra money to have as a student. A lot of times they are hard just with the fact that it's its own application, so you have to be mindful that you're going to do a common application, but then on top of that, you might have to do an application through this website. Or, for example, Questbridge doesn't use Common App, so if you're not planning for Common App at all, you apply through Questbridge, and a lot of times just looking at, like let's say Questbridge, it's an ED application, so everything's early. It's due September 30th, basically, so it's a very sped up timeline, but if you get it, you get matched with the school based on what you rank, you get before, right before 4 years, and you're not worrying about at least cost or if it changes. Coca-Cola, same thing, very big scholarships that will cover full rides, but again, like you have to do a timeline of a sped up application. So just think about, again, starting early, starting on time. So if you want to do scholarships like this, just acknowledging the fact that, okay, I'm gonna have to have my essay done by this time, I'm gonna have my letter of recommendation ready by this time, so you can apply on time and then hopefully get matched with scholarship and then go to school for free and not think about money. Top of that is local ones. I think I'm new to Carolina Youth or CYC, but I don't know if you guys might know if you guys are here. That's another good one. They can help you get national scholarship or get funded for school, and then on top of that, Fidelity is another one. It's for North Carolina-based students, but the exact same thing. They can cover your entire tuition, pay for your laptop and stuff like that, and also just give you extra money to use as a student. So I guess like the main takeaway is just do your research like early, because again, even though Common App opens at August 1st, one of these applications might open with their own application a lot sooner, or maybe right after. You have to decide, okay, like, do I want to apply for Common App or do I want to apply for this application? And then what you're looking for in terms of money, aid, and like where you want to go. So obviously, find a school specific one. You'd be applying, focusing your application on getting into this one school versus a lot more through Common App or different application.
One thing I would say is you want to really maximize your summers. Don't just do nothing. Best time I think would be like summer going into senior year. It's a good time to kind of just a little bit every day, kind of think about what you want to do, look at the websites, look at the scholarships and see what the requirements. Sometimes they're very quick questions, and also think about your personal statement, because school is going to be hard. You know, it's going to be, sometimes you're taking your core classes, hard classes towards the end of your years, and also it's already like a lot of pressure because you're probably going to be studying for the SATs as well, or the ACT, right? Yeah, long time. And then also just other things that you might be doing, other responsibilities. You probably want to spend time with your friends as well. So I would say that summer is a really good window for you to really prepare yourself, or even before that, going into your junior year. To kind of just get that together, or even study for your SAT and ACT, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say about scholarships. I got most of my scholarships from my guidance counselor at my school. They are very, like, they're not just, therapy, or just make sure you're good at home. Like, no, it's not that. Like, they actually are trying to get to know you and see how they can help you in that way. And I had to do one of those where it was like you had to do an interview. So yeah, they like they do it based off like, it was more academically, I wasn't really like the best. I'm gonna be very honest and frank. I wasn't really the best like in high school. I wasn't like straight A's and everything, but she knew me on a personal level, knew that what I was working in high school, and she just knew me, and she just was like, okay, this is a scholarship I recommend for you. So that's why I said earlier, get to know your guidance counselor, get to know the faculty members over there, because they also know other scholarships. A lot of people don't even know mine. And I was like, did you hear about this scholarship? They're like, no, I've never. And I think it was called the Foundation of Carolinas. I never heard of that before, but they were like uptown Charlotte and everything. I had to go all the way over there. So yeah, there's also, that's another thing too. There's so many scholarships that people just even know, or not gatekeep, but yeah.
Okay, I have my own experience to add. talking about like building a personal like relationship with your teachers or guiding counselors. At least for my teacher, she always made sure that we had people coming out to talk about scholarships and schools and stuff like that. So the one time I did pay attention, it was a scholarship called Rise to Success Program, and it's through Atrium Health, and they were the ones that paid me through CPCC. So I didn't have to do anything. I was paid to take classes, and it was also a motivation because they expected good grades. So if I felt like I was lazy, I didn't want to do this, I was like, I don't want to lose my scholarship. That's extra money. That's the whole band right there. Hold on. But it's just like, it's a good motivation, and just pay attention to the people that come to talk to you, like we are now, or the people that are coming to talk to you in high school, because a lot of the times they're talking about from personal experience, things they wish they knew in high school. And yeah, just utilize that as much as you can, because you don't have to struggle financially if you don't need to. Also, y'all care about your parents, right? I would say. So you're actually helping your parents out a lot too, because college is expensive. A lot of times, even just for food. Sometimes, especially your freshman year, or like, you're gonna be a lot busy, so you probably have to eat outside more, so you're not really, obviously it's more cost efficient to eat at home, and meal prep and everything, yes. But that's also gonna be other things. Even then, you wanna be at a point where you're actually enjoying yourself. You're able to go shopping for like clothes and buying other things for yourself, self-care. Even for self-care, ladies, we know it takes, you wanna maintain the self-care, but being mindful of that's important. Don't just be like, oh, I'll put off the scholarships. All that, every dollar counts when you're in college.
We're just thinking that like timeline, like when you're probably the most important thing, like you have 4 years, so just doing things sooner. Like everyone has like maybe a dream goal, whether it's a job, a school. Like for me, it's just to get out of Charlotte. Like Charlotte school, no, but I'm bored. I want to be somewhere different. You don't want to limit what you can do in the future, or at least college-wise, because you waited until the last minute or didn't think about it sooner. Whether it's finding a scholarship part time, or racking another volunteer hour, or joining this club, or doing it on your school. Like everyone is going to be different, whether like their grades, what they do, but time is the most important thing. Like if you're waiting for the last minute, it's not going to help you. And then again, at the end of the day, like your senior year still matters to an extent about your application process and your grades. So you don't want to sacrifice your schooling just to get into a school, and vice versa. You don't want to like put off the application to do better in school. So whether that's scholarships or anything, like starting ahead of time is going to help. And even with, like you said, the guidance counselors, meeting with them earlier, like having that connection, that relationship. Like let's say your letter of recommendations, your comment, everything's going to go through your counselor. And they send a lot of the important documents. They send your transcript, they send your school profile. If they know you can put a face to your name, like just anything as simple as just them sending in things faster for you, or maybe prioritizing your stuff will help. And again, like learning through scholarships through them, maybe another school you might apply to, might be interested in. Like they'll tell you a lot of these things to help you through that. So utilize that sooner, and like get to start a lot of these connections a lot faster. So probably one of the most important things on this application is your personal statement. This is your essay that you'll be submitting through Common App to all these schools that you applied to. And while a lot of schools don't always require a personal statement, again, like it's one of those things that you should, just because it puts you apart of such a students, and just because it's optional, don't not do it just out of ease, or to get the easy way out. So you'll have 6 prompts, or 7 prompts total. You have 6 specific essay prompts that are specific to a certain topic. I think 1 year it was like a certain like moment, you had like epiphany, or like something about something like that. But there are specific prompts, and then one of them is a free write, where you can just write about anything, whether it's anything that you think of or struggle or something like that. Yeah. So just choosing one of these prompts. Again, start early. You have your junior year. Let's say for those of you who are juniors, like maybe in the second semester of your junior year, thinking about what topic you want to pick, and then maybe drafting an essay that junior summer, or your senior year summer, like now for your senior year, starting to write and just have a draft that people can look at, rewrite. You can rewrite and edit now. So if you can have your, like, ideally, like, yeah, you guys want to have fun during summer, but if you can have your essay at least like drafted, whether it's not final or not, now before you start school, taking that last like August and just have someone edit it, whatever. Having that done and just focusing on just submitting FAFSA and stuff like that makes everything a lot easier. And you can also just focus on maybe I want to apply to this school, I want to apply to that school. And on top of that, like regardless of what your stats are, your personal statement a lot of times can get you in school, like regardless of, let's say your GPA is a 3, there's a certain school that requires a 3.8. you might not have the stats for it, but your essay sets you apart from another student. Like, hey, like I want this student in my school, that can get you in. So every aspect is important in its own way, and with personal statement is one of the most important because it almost it takes away, separates grades at least, and then can set you apart and put you into a school just because of what they read about you, what they like about you. Write multiple drafts. You want to revise these, whether just getting as many eyes as possible, having your friends look at it, your parents, one of us, for example, your counselors, your teachers itself. English teachers are a good one too. The English teachers are honestly one of the best ones just because that's what they teach you about is how to write, and whether they know you as a student or not, like they'll let you know what you can fix, either as if you're telling a story or just trying to explain something, they'll help you put it in the best way possible. And it's just important to highlight the person and the student. Your colleges, when they're reading your essay, your application, besides like your grades and everything, that's cool and all, but they don't know you, like who you are as a person. Your essay can tell them that. So it's like, why would I want this person at my school? And that your essay can tell you, hey, this to so-and-so, or I value this, or I want to do this in life, stuff like that. And just alone off that, like, it gives you an edge or hopefully an acceptance to a school like and you want to apply to. On top of the essays, in common, you'll see supplementals. Supplementals are just like you said, secondary questions that they ask on top of it. Some of them can be short, but just it's a sentence like, why my school? What do you like? Like, they can be very simple, but some of them can be 300 words, like almost close to like half of like your actual essay. Depending on the school, some of them have a lot, some of them are required, some of them are optional. Again, if they're optional, still try to do it because it'll help you stand out. And also just be efficient. With your essay like this, you're gonna write one essay, but a lot of schools do have the same supplemental. So I guess like what I did was take a supplemental I used my chapel supplemental and rewrote it to fit a different school. Because as long as you're answering the question, a lot of times questions are the same. Be specific to that school too. Also when you're writing, you can write about something that's like looking into a school, like let's say Chapel Hill, I talked about I want to apply Chapel Hill because of this and this. There's a certain class I want to take or a certain teacher I might want to learn under. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, but you're always making that school feel special. They're like, I want to go to this school, and they'll take that as okay. This person really wants to be in my school, and give them an acceptance. But this is probably one of the most pivotal parts of your application. But time is one of your biggest things, like taking the time ahead of time to start, having people read it, revise it, but also like your idea can always change. Like you might have multiple ideas. Getting them written down on paper where you can see it and read it for yourself and other people to read will like help you decide, okay, maybe I don't want this idea anymore, I want to choose this one. This one's better for me as a person. Just getting that done sooner will just like less stress because like no one wants to write a really important essay while taking an AP class or classes at school or being focused in clubs or work. And again, is the timeline of the due date coming up November 1st to January 1st.
I'll at least say this for essays. There is no thing as like a stupid or dumb essay to write about. I have two experiences. For me, I wrote about struggles and whether it was in high school or being Eritrean, coming back, coming from Eritrea. That was mine. But my sister, she didn't really know what to write, so we ended up last minute writing about Tom and Jerry, and she got into that school. And it just says that there's no they're not looking for anything specific. They just want to know how you are as a person. They just want a personality. They just want to get to know you and basically what made you you. You can talk about anything. Tom and Jerry was something that she remembers as her childhood because we always watched that. So she related to her childhood and her time at Addis. So it was just something that was personal to her. So I'll say just make it personal to you. It could be about literally anything. And at least use us. We've been through essays, so we know how to at least write some, revise some. So just if you need to ask any of us or anybody, teachers especially.
Yes, we will make the time, whether it's virtually or in person, to meet with you guys about anything that we talked about. Personal statement, personally, I did the same thing as well. I just talked about what I overcame and everything, and I was just 100% blunt. About just my life and just being real. And also I think one thing that they say that you definitely, if you're not one thing, I think, know for sure is you kind of want to feel like you're telling a story. You want to kind of be attention grabbing, you know what I mean? You want to keep them, you don't just say, I went through this and this happened and da 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 da. No, you want it to be like you're reading a book.
that's why it's so important to get like your English teacher, a writing professional, if you have a writing center, to kind of look at it and be like, oh wow, I like that. And that's how you want to start the first part. You're just like, whoa, this is interesting. Let me get into it. And it can be like a joke. It could be as very simple. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, like the most important thing is just making a connection. Like you can write about almost anything, but if it doesn't connect to who you are as a person or a student, like it doesn't mean anything. Like I had a friend who wrote about the lunch ladies in high school, and she somehow turned it into why she wants to study psychology. Just like basically like how lunch ladies interact with people every day, or like how they interact with her. But it can be about anything. Like mine was about time. Like it's connected time, like I guess like fear of time passing, stuff like that, into why I wanted to be a doctor and stuff like that. Like, and as long as it has a connection, it can actually just be about anything. You're basically just telling them a story, whether it's about you, about somebody else, about a family member, your culture, who you are as a person, maybe another person that's made an impact in your life. But as long as it connects to who you are, at the end of the day, we'll make a good personal statement. But, so just final tips, kind of the same thing we reiterated, just stay organized, and don't procrastinate. Like give yourself the time to make the best application you possibly can. Whether you're a senior now and your summer before it, a junior, a freshman, 8th grade, or whatever. Like set like it is stressful to like think about something if it's not like actually like, coming up immediate. Like for those of you who are freshmen or sophomores, obviously it's like a big thing, a big deal to deal with now. But just thinking about it, like, at least having an idea of like how you prepare for it, whether that's you starting out to like know all your volunteering hours, or maybe what teacher I want to get closer with to ask for a letter of recommendation. All that matters because you want to be able to be the most efficient student with your application. Like if you can finish your essay, let's say during summertime, and then get your letter of recommendation done the first week of school, or like at least like asking them for it. Makes everything faster because then the deadline isn't something that's like pressing in, so you have the time flexibilities that maybe during this time I research a different school and apply this school, or add this school, or take away this school. Like you have the time to think about that versus the month before, the week before, adding a school to your list or removing it because you don't have the time, or you don't have a recommendation in time, or you don't have your essay done in time, or FAFSA, for example. So you just want to set yourself apart and be able to like make the most of your application. On top of that, just ask for help. You have your counselors, you have your teachers, you have family, you have your community. It is a big thing. It's stressful sometimes. We're like putting a lot of weight on to like getting a certain school, getting money from it. At the end of the day, like all of us have our different paths. Like whether you get into a school or you don't, it doesn't stop you from getting to your goal. Like there's something like, again, like you can get into school and then maybe something happens and like you have to stop, or maybe that's not the school for you. You have to transfer. Like, or else what happens? You're gonna end up where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. So yeah, it's fine. Like, you can be like, I went to my school and first year, it was okay, but it wasn't the best school in the world to me. Like maybe I thought about transferring to Chapel Hill with my family and cousins, but I didn't. I stayed, saw it through, and at the end of the day, like Emory gave me everything I needed to be for schooling and like what I wanted for my future. They offered it, and again, like you have the time now to decide what you want out of the school, like whether it's just having space for the student, maybe being out of your own city, trying a different city, maybe you want to stay home, figuring that out now, but also just give yourself the time to like change and be flexible. Like you're not, like nothing's set in stone. So yeah. Okay.
I'm just adding on to this, that's really great. Adding on to what Natsu said about one thing and how we're going to intertwine faith in it. You have to also surrender to God's timing. You can have plans, and you can just be that type of person. Well, this is going to happen then, and this is going to happen next, and da-da-da-da. God is the first person, and God is the only person that's going to handle your situation. And also, you can have wants, right? But He's going to give you what you need. So that's what I learned from my own, where I went through in college and everything. And sometimes you think, okay, I'm going to do this, and it didn't happen my way. But trusting in God and surrendering is so important, because I promise you, you're going to be where you're at. As long as you don't give up on yourself, because God does not want you to give up on yourself. You have so much love, you have so much people around you who want to see you do better. Everybody was scared at once. We were all terrified applying to college. It was the scariest thing ever, but we overcame it, and look where we are right now. And you guys can do that as well. So like I said, have faith in God. Your faith will be tested in college, 100%. But as long as you're able to surrender to Him and let Him know 100% that you trust in God, everything will happen the way you want it to happen. In His timing, not your timing.
question, I guess, before we start.
Anybody have any questions?
Come on, y'all, you have some
Come
subject
on.
matter experts here.
Y'all know you have questions.
About anything related to college. And I think for those of you who were here on Sunday, we spoke about the group chat. If you haven't joined, that's the top code you guys can scan to get in. I think I had to adjust something with the settings, so I saw some of you join, but not everybody. And then the bottom QR code is we're going to try to do a mentorship program. So basically, with those of you guys who are seniors now, maybe juniors, starting our college application, any type of questions you guys have, maybe help with your essay, like editing them, like what can I write about, or how do I improve this? Really anything about college applications, we're going to try to match you either one-on-one or a group and help you during your process up until submit your application. So the bottom code will register you guys. It's just a quick form, put your name, grade, phone number, and email, and then we'll get back to you guys pretty soon about how we can help you guys with college applications and what questions you guys might have for us. So those are the two codes you guys can scan if you're interested.
And me and Selam are going to be here the whole year. Next fall here for sure. In case anything changes. So we will be here in person to help you guys, and the QR code on the bottom will, like, if you guys need our help or anything, we can do that too. I will set aside time for you guys because I want to help you guys. I see you guys as like little versions of me. I think that's how we see. That's how we see you all. So if I can have a little sibling, a little cousin, I can help you guys too. So. Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
We have one more. I'm sorry. Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You want to say that?
No. Okay.
Turn it off.
All right. It's already off. But so our next event is going to be July 18, 2025. Obviously, we're going to have a career and college panel. So for those of you that are still too young, maybe you're not junior or senior yet, you don't know what you want to do, it's a great time for you to just have college students to explain what they do, their field of study, what they do in college currently. I don't know. Pretty much. Well, not the expert. Yes.
So yeah,
What are we doing?
we're gonna get professionals, like young housing professionals, or you might be in the field that you want to go into, and then for those of you who maybe don't know what you want to do, we'll be able to hear how they got there, whether it's high school, college, and how they got to their job now. So yeah, just being, even if you're not at high school applications or college applications yet, or in college yet, just being there and be able to learn, if maybe that's what I want to do in the future. Or, just hearing those experiences will be very helpful, especially for those who have application coming up and want to decide what major they want to be in, or even those of you guys in sophomore year and sophomore freshman year, like if you can, like knowing what you want to do in the future, whether it's just like a field or an actual job, can help you pick certain classes that maybe direct, like you said, like join certain clubs, like if you want, let's say medicine, taking more science classes in high school and joining a hosted club or doing medical related volunteering outside of it will set up your application for success. Let's say you want to apply to school with a good biology program or a medicine program. So just being there, whatever age you are, will be very helpful. So you guys should come out and it's all good things.
I was gonna say one more thing, I'm sorry. While we're here, if y'all have any requests about maybe a type of career or like a professional that you want to come out, and you can tell us. We'll try to get somebody that is doing whatever you requested. So don't be afraid to ask. I think that's pretty much it. And then also for college too, if you're like, I'm thinking about going to this college, like Dream College, let us know, and then we'll try and connect you with somebody who actually goes to that college or already graduated. So that's what happened with me. As soon as I graduated, and that's how Habesha people are, you know, we're gonna be like, okay, my daughter is going there, I'm gonna find everybody, I'm going to ECU. And then that's what happened. I met so many friends that way, and they actually helped my transition. Helped, like, you know, had met like a lot of seniors and juniors there who helped me, and they like took me in. So that's another thing too. Please let us know ahead of time so we can do that for you.
All right, so again, I just want to extend a good thank you so much from Nacho, Selam, and Titi for making this presentation for you guys. You guys understand what a tool belt is? Right? And you put your screwdriver, your hammer, and all that. This is something you can put in your tool belt, right? This is a resource and some real accurate information that you know now that you guys are kind of thinking about what college is gonna look like, what my next steps are. This is tools that you can put in your tool belt, right? And then here's some resources and folks that are saying, we wanna help you succeed. So use us, come to us, we're here for you. So I hope that you found today valuable. And maybe you're shy today and don't wanna ask questions, or you're on your phone and distracted. I'm talking, so you can do that later. Or maybe on the side, so we have some refreshments for you, but take this opportunity to connect with them. If you don't know them, introduce yourselves. If you have an idea or question, we'll have some refreshments out there. But please use us, okay? All right, thank you for being here.